Greetings, this is Vane and welcome back to Let's Play Per Aspera Green Mars. Okay, so not a great deal to do at the moment. So you're just letting the oxygen build up as best we can. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think the building cap's probably one of the least enjoyable mechanics of this game. Simply because it's just sort of stops you dead in what you're doing, and you end, which can feel like it breaks the flow quite a bit. But other than that, yeah, it's good. Some maintenance over here. What else is going on? Well, I did notice one of the things that's got me vaguely excited as I'm thinking about new games to do is that one of my favourite software developers, Kairosoft, is now on Steam. Now, I played Kairosoft games to death back in the day on Android, and I've been looking at a way to do Let's Play of those. I mean, I pretty much bought all of their games. I think the only ones I didn't buy have been the only ones I didn't buy have been the ones that I basically chop you off there. Basically the new stuff when I stopped playing on my phone. Mainly because my phone got a little bit too old and I didn't really have the money to replace it. But having previously bought them all, the thought of buying them all on Steam again is a bit of an ask, since they're almost twice the price per game. That said, I know from experience that even if they are just exactly as they are, as in the Android versions, then they will probably make for some great Let's Plays. I mean, they've got 5 of their extensive catalogue available already, and out of those I have actually completed 4 of them. One of them I've actually completed multitude of times. So I'm quite tempted to fucking spare the funds, and especially if I get the support to pick those up and do some Let's Plays. And they're relatively short games. I mean, most of them have a kind of time limit for scoring, but you can play endlessly, so beyond that point. And many of them have like New Game Plus. So I don't believe they've had any sort of development since they were first released on Android way back in the day. I mean, they're by gaming standards, they are retro games, well and truly by now. Having come out, I think it 20 just after 2010 was the first one, something like that. So they're about, some of them are about a decade old. I think Kairosoft, like I said, I'm a big fan of Kairosoft. They just haven't bought any of their new games, because they release a new game once every 3 to 6 months, because they go with a sort of pixel art style complete game rather than a kind of sales pitch, as opposed to a sort of free to play, pay to win mobile app, which is what you would expect from the platform Android these days. I mean, that's pretty much what made them stand out. They've had a few games where they've experimented with that model, but they're never anywhere as popular as their all-for-one games they're all-in-one games with their fans. And the games themselves aren't that different, so they have slightly different ideas, but they have a lot of similar play styles, so which essentially is what makes a Kairosoft game. So the fans don't mind it, so it ends up being that a lot of they've developed their own style, got their own characters, a bit of their own mythology that appears between the games. I mean, obviously they've got their mascot, which is Kairosoft, the Kairobot, who appears, and a couple of others. And a lot of their main thing is simulations. So in terms of how they would fit in with the games Joy on this channel, they'd fit right in. Got a whole bunch of new games coming out. There's another 10 that they've announced is definitely coming, although only a few of them are. And of those 10, I think only one of them is one that I have not played. So, which I think is pretty cool. Except the hard part is justifying rebuying those games again. But what I'll probably do is I'll probably pace myself to doing one specifically for Let's Play, and like pick up one a month, which for a tenner and for what the game is, I can sort of justify that cost. Between that, various games from Humble Choice, formerly Humble Monthly, and of course doing Stellaris and the other games, as well as my extensive back catalogue. Hopefully this channel will continue to grow, so please let me know what sort of games you like me playing, how you like me to play them. Do you like how I do these styles of Let's Play and what can be improved? I sort of like the commentary light kind of approach to just playing the games, because I'm not very expressive. I've mentioned it before, and sometimes it can seem like I'm ragging on other Let's Players to try and build up a rep, but it's just with a lot of Let's Players, it's about building a community and establishing the reputations of the Let's Player as celebrity, as opposed to, in my opinion, just playing the games. Plus, I kind of feel that if you're going to play a long, grindy game, then you should do a long, grindy experience. You shouldn't do editing. I mean, a big part of that's because I'm lazy, obviously, but it's also because it's quite taxing doing editing, and I would much rather spend my mental energy on actually playing the games and getting more content. So I mean, in terms of, I can understand lots of Let's Players do Let's Playing professionally, doing things on Twitch and live YouTube live stream and bits like that, but to be honest, I'm quite comfortable doing this. It's just the format I like doing. My only gripe really is that YouTube sort of has abandoned new content creators that prefer this type of format. But what you're gonna do? YouTube knows best, right? at the time of recording, I'm just finishing up Per Aspera. UFO Aftershock is still going. With content going up until the end of June at the time of recording, which is the end of April here. So I've still got 2-month buffer on that. I've been able to take time off to do an episode of a series of Stellaris. And I think the majority of this, I think we're coming near to the end of this episode, or not this episode, and this series of Per Aspera. I'm not quite sure. I mean, we got one terraforming stage left. We've investigated all the texts. So yeah. Not really much else to say. I mean, between doing this, it's local election season. I'm thinking of standing as a local councillor in 2026. Local Labour councillor. For the old socialist in me, but which I assume will take a lot of work. But it all depends on how this goes. It's really more means to help my community and socialise and get back out there. Pick up what I was doing before I ended up taking the break and moving with Sean, which in no way could ever be classed as a mistake. But, and it's a big but, I mean, it represented a change in my life that even now I feel I made for all the right reasons. I don't think anyone expected the way Sean would pass, let alone the knock-on effect that such a thing would have, in that I would come back to Dagenham, least of all me. Yeah. But as they say, onwards and upwards. I mean, there's no denying how much I enjoy engaging with my local community. Assuming, of course, they enjoy engaging with me and want me to represent them. You know, still got to deal with elections. And campaigning and all that stuff. But what you gonna do, eh? Dem's the rules. Yeah, not really anything else to talk about, really. Probably another reason why I prefer the comment light style. I don't very much have a lot to talk about. And it's generally a mistake for me to get involved in talking about politics to anyone who's not politically minded. It's a bit like trying to talk video games to anyone who isn't video game minded. So yeah. I'm sort of hoping to get this done in time before the Blue Mars update, which is due I think in about a week. I get the feeling if it's like any of their other updates, it's, although they're calling it a DLC, it's going to be a free update. Which technically is a DLC, obviously, but not as we would understand it. I mean, which apparently is going to deal with some of the issues with the rising tide. Which is namely the fact that, especially when you're playing through the story, you can miss out on quite a bit if you start the terraforming too early, or you do it at the, well, you do it at the recommended rate, and yeah, because we still haven't unlocked all the sectors. I mean, we're doing quite well with our terraforming. I think we're on stage 4 or 5. We're now 4/5 of the way through. I think we've got 101.4 millibars of oxygen before we get on to the next bit. So you're definitely getting green Mars. Not so much exploration, greenery down there, but I mean this bit's definitely doing well, as is that. I mean that's, we pretty much lost 2 entire bases up here to the rising tide, but we got our fair share, so it was okay to pull them back. In my opinion, is they weren't wasted. We got our use out of them. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know how accurate this scan of Mars is, but it does look like most of the land's actually in the southern hemisphere, which makes a change from Earth. And there's actually no North Polar ice cap. But then that's probably because of all the space mirrors. But yeah. And if you look at it, I mean, I don't know if this is all going to flood. It doesn't look like it's going to flood. If we go by what's going to be the scale of sea level, because I believe it's the stuff that's below sea level. That's going to flood as we put more water on. Yeah, okay, that's coming on. But with that in mind, we're likely to have, yeah, it's going to be pretty much a Pangaea continent type style for Mars, as opposed to a continental one, which is core gas. Not sure what happened there. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. So this has been Vane doing a Let's Play Per Aspera Green Mars. If you like what you see in here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider sponsoring me on Patreon. And until next time, goodbye.